Hello, welcome back to the Atlantis Football YouTube channel, and today we'll be doing a tier list ranking the best and worst football kits that have been released by Premier League clubs this season. So before the video starts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on any of the content coming over the summer, and obviously give this video a like if you enjoy it. I'll put a quiz question in the comment section below, so go down there and see if you get the answer right. So we're going to do it in alphabetical order, so start off with the Arsenal kit. Now I really like this shirt. I think the collar is one of the best parts of it. I like how the red is sandwiched between the two white stripes, which gives it a sort of clean cut feel. I also like in the Arsenal kits they always have the white sleeves, which I think makes the centre, the middle, the red part stand out more, and it just gives it a real sort of like polo shirt feel, which is a unique theme for a football kit. So for this reason, just because it's a bit unique and because of what they've done with the collar, I'm going to put the Arsenal shirt in the A-star category. So the next kit we're going to be looking at is the Aston Villa one. So when Aston Villa were in the Premier League last, I really didn't like their kit. If you remember, Benteke and Paul Lambert were there, and I just thought it gave it a really old sort of feel. But if you look at this year's kit, it's a much newer, much brighter. It's similar to the Arsenal one because you have the light blue sleeves and the claret in the middle, and I think this does help the kits a lot. And this is probably another one of my favourite kits, so it's a good start for the alphabetical Premier League clubs at the start. I'm going to put Aston Villa in the A category. I do think it's maybe just missing something that would push it up to the A star, but I'm going to put it in that A category. So next on the list is going to be Bournemouth. So Bournemouth have changed their kit up a bit from last year. Last year the sleeves were all black. This year they've put the red on there. They've got a stripe and then the sleeves are all red, which means that the overall shirt has more red on it. And the shirt, the stripes, I think are a bit smaller as well. So the red stands out more, which I think is a really good sign for the kit. I think it looks better when there's more red on it. I thought last year, especially the sleeves, when they were all black, it just looked a bit bulky sort of. This year I think it looks really clean, and I think this is one of the best ones as well, alongside the Arsenal one. So I'm going to be putting it in the A-star category. So the next up on the list is Brighton, and like how they ruined a lot of Premier League games for the defensive football last season, they're going to ruin this A-star A theme going through the tier ranking so far, because I'm going to put them in the C category. So I don't really hate their kit, but I just think they could have done a lot more with it. I think the collar should be a lot chunkier, as if you look at the Arsenal and Aston Villa kits, the collar really stands out. In the Brighton kit they don't really have a collar at all, and also I don't really like the sleeves. I think they could have done a similar design to what Bournemouth did, with the red more prominent than the black. So in the Brighton kit the white would be a lot more prominent than the blue. I think that would have worked better, so that's why I'm going to put it in a C tier, just because I don't really hate it that much, but I don't think it's that good. I think they could have improved, so it's going to be in the C tier. So the next up is going to be Burnley. Now Burnley's kit does remind me a lot of Aston Villa's kit that I really hated a few seasons ago. I don't really think there's a lot standing out. The only thing I gather really from the shirt is the Chinese writing on the front, Japanese I'm not sure, which is the sponsor, which is always a bad sign if you notice in the sponsor more than the actual shirt and the design. So for that reason I'm going to be putting it in the D category. After Burnley we have Chelsea. So Chelsea's kit, they seem to have gone for a weird design here. Normally they do go for a similar sort of style every single season. No, I think they've ruined it terribly. They've gone for sort of a squiggle black pattern behind the kit, which I don't really understand. Can't really see what it is. And I don't normally like Chelsea kits anyway. I think they're a bit bland and a bit like nothing really stands out about them. It's normally all blue, as this one is. I think this one they've managed to go a tier down and really fuck up the kit more than I would have expected them to do. So for that reason I'm going to be putting Chelsea in the E category. Generally Chelsea kits are bad, but I think this one's especially bad. So instead of going for like a C tier where I wouldn't really care about it, I really hate this kit. It's going to be going in the E. It would be in the F tier, maybe some other seasons, but I'm going to reserve the F tier for some really, really bad kits. And I just feel that the Chelsea one probably just edges above that. Now we have the Crystal Palace kit. So the Crystal Palace one, I preferred it last season because I really did like the yellow that was there, which reminded you a bit of the Barcelona kit where you have the red, the white and the yellow collar. This season they've sort of got rid of the yellow collar. I can't really see it. It looks like they've just completely got rid of all the collar, to be honest, and there's sort of just a white tip at the end. Which I don't think is as good as last season's, which is why I'll be probably putting this in the B tier. I don't think it's a terrible kit. I still think it's a nice looking kit. I think the red and white stripes always make it look appealing. I think striped shirts are generally a better look than just the plain shirts as the Chelsea kit is normally. So for that reason it's going to be in the B tier. Not terrible, but could be improved on next season. So B tier for Palace. Now on to the Everton shirt. So Everton seem to have reverted back to the style they had in the 2008-2009 season with the Umbro, which I thought was a terrible design. I really hated those kits. This one I think is even worse. They've just got some funny weird design on at the top, and it's just a really basic shirt. I don't really know why they're paying people to make these shirts when they look just boring and dull, and I'm not going to remember this in a few seasons. Maybe I might remember it because I hate it so much. For that reason, Everton are reserved for the F tier. It's a terrible shirt. I really don't like it. There's nothing really to talk about it. Even they haven't really done any launches really for it that well. I saw Delph in it, and just seeing Delph in that shit shirt just really put it home to me that this deserves to be in the F tier, because they've signed Delph, who's an average central midfielder, and they've put him in a terrible shirt, and just for that it's going to be in the F tier, below Chelsea even. So the F tier has its first jersey, shirt, whatever you want to call it, in there, and it's going to be the Everton shirt. So the next up is the Leicester City shirt. So I think this one's a carbon copy of the Chelsea 2012-2013 shirt. They're both made by Adidas, but I do like the gold stripes across the shoulder of this Leicester kit. I think it is a nice contrast between the blue on the actual shirt and the little bit of gold that really just sort of catches your eye. I also like the square design. There's different shades of squares on the front of the shirt, and I think this just makes it a lot more appealing, and it's definitely a better design than if you look at the Chelsea kit where they've got all squiggles all over it. So for me, I'm a fan of this Leicester shirt, and I'm going to put it in the B category. So now on to the Liverpool shirt. I actually prefer it to last season. It doesn't have the collar, which I normally like on a shirt, as I spoke about with the Arsenal and Aston Villa shirts, but I think Liverpool have got it right with how they've designed it. New Balance have done a really good job. I also like the subtle stripes. You can see if you look closely on the front of the Liverpool shirt. I also like how they've put the Liverpool badge in gold sort of, and the New Balance logo in gold. It just makes it stand out a bit more, and I think it's a really nice kit. It looks really clean. I also like the little bit of white they have where the collar would be if there was one, but you can just see it a bit, but it's subtle enough where it still makes it look clean and not clunky like some kits have managed to make theirs, such as the Burnley one, which I don't really like the collar on that one. But this is another very good kit alongside the Leicester one, but I don't think it has the wow factor that when I first see it, when I saw the Arsenal one and the Aston Villa one, I really liked it, and especially the Bournemouth one. So I'm going to put this Liverpool kit in the B tier. So now we're on to the Champions kit, Manchester City. And unlike their team, this is a pretty shit kit in my opinion. I really don't understand why the purple's on there, why they've gone for purple. It just looks a bit dodgy alongside the light blue. People are going to say it's a Manchester United bias, I have, but I usually don't mind City's kits. They look pretty neat, to be honest. But I just really don't like the purple on there for some reason. I also think the collar stands out a little bit too much. It makes it look like one of those custom pre-season kits that teams often wear. But I think this should have been a warning when we saw that terrible City kit, when they had like these 6 different previous kits all combined together. That one looked shocking, and this one is equally as shocking. So what I'm going to be doing is putting Manchester City where they were before the Arab money came in, right at the bottom of the tier, and it's going to be in the F tier alongside Everton. Now on to their Manchester rivals, Manchester United. I actually preferred this season's kit to last season's. I didn't really like the whole blended in trend that Nike did last season when they had the shorts the same colour as the bottom of the shirt. I much prefer this season's kit. It's a lot cleaner, and I just think it looks better when you've got the whole red shirt combined with the white shorts and you have the black socks. It's sort of a Manchester United traditional sort of look, as you would see under the Ferguson era, and I think they sort of went away from that when they went with the black shorts. But I do prefer this one, and I still think it's not as good as, say, the Aston Villa one, the Bournemouth or the Arsenal one. I think it's just a tier below. I'm going to put it in that B tier along with Liverpool. So they're on a par with Liverpool, which could be a good outcome maybe for the season. Probably won't be, but yeah, so Manchester United in that B tier. So now we're on to Newcastle, and Newcastle's kit, they've gone for something really different than they usually go for. It sort of looks like a 1980s shirt really. If you took away the sponsor, you'd probably think it was from the 1980s. I like the collar at the top. It's got the little bit of white sandwiched between the 2 small bits of black, and the stripes are much larger. There's only 2 white stripes and 3 black, which does make it stand out a lot more. And I really like how they've pushed the badge and the Puma sponsor logo into the centre of the shirt. The only flaw in the shirt I can see is the sponsor. I don't really like how it sits on the shirt, and for that reason it's going to be deducted. I'm going to be putting it in the A tier. If it didn't have the sponsor and then maybe a different style, I'd probably be putting it in the A star tier, but because of that it's going right below Bournemouth and Arsenal in the A tier. The next shirt on the list is going to be Norwich's. Now Norwich have gone for that sort of faded theme. that we saw a lot with the kits last season, like the Manchester United one where you had the bit of black at the bottom that looked a bit faded, and it would sort of look like the shirt and the shorts had faded in together. Norwich have gone for that with the yellow at the top of their shirt and the green and at the bottom of the shirt, along with the green shorts. I do like this kit. I normally like the colours of the Norwich kit. It makes it stand out, and it's easy to distinguish the kit when you see it. You can't really confuse it with anything else. I do like this kit, so I'll probably be putting this in the B tier. I do think there's something missing, maybe the design, because it was done last year. It doesn't catch my eye as much, but anyway, it's going to be in the B tier. Now on to Sheffield United. Their new strip is giving me Sunderland vibes, which is never a good thing. I don't really... It's a decent kit, I'm not going to say it's terrible. I sort of like the black bit at the top, the 3 stripes, where the shoulders are, but I don't think it really stands out as a Premier League kit. I think there are much better designs, and it does sort of fall on the same side as them old Sunderland kits, and even Southampton last year I wasn't really a fan of. I'm not really a fan of the red white with the black. I prefer when it's just the red and the white, so for that reason I'm going to be putting Sheffield United in the D tier. Now we have the Southampton kit, which is similar to the Sheffield United shirt, and I don't really like this either. They've gone with the black again on the strip, which I didn't really like the last year, and they've made it more predominant in this year's strip, which I don't really like. They've sort of gone for some weird bulk at the top, a block of black, which I prefer when the Southampton kits were the thin stripes of red and white. It looked a lot better without the black. I don't really know why they've gone for it. And to me, I'm putting it in that same category as the Sheffield United one, the Southampton, Sunderland, old sort of them kits, which I really didn't like. So because it's giving me those Sunderland vibes, I'm going to be putting it in the E tier, even below the Sheffield United one, because the Sheffield United one I don't like, but I can sort of see how it can be appealing. But the Southampton one I really don't like. I wish they would get rid of the black and go back just to the red and white. Now we have the Tottenham kit, which just seems a bit bland, not really much going on. It looks like they've just rushed it in the last week. There's not much design to it at all. It's just a singular white shirt, and they've just added a bit of the collar, the black collar, with the black sleeves, the bit at the bottom, the collared part of the sleeves. I don't think it really stands out. It won't be remembered really. It's not terrible. All the Tottenham kits generally look good because it's got that white strip, which is appealing. It's got that sort of Real Madrid vibe. So I'm going to put Tottenham in the C tier. Now we're on to Watford, and this is probably my favourite kit. It's going to be up there with Bournemouth and Arsenal. What they've done is they've got rid of the stripes, the yellow and black stripes that Watford usually have or had last season. And they've just gone with like a block. They've gone with a block black on one side of the shirt, a block yellow on the other, yellow on the black side, and black sleeve on the yellow side, which really looks good. And I think it's probably my favourite kit. I probably just edges Bournemouth because of the yellow. I do like yellow in the kit. It makes it stand out a lot more than Bournemouth's red. But it's going to be up there. I'll probably put it in first place, but it's definitely going to be in their A-star tier alongside Bournemouth and Arsenal. Now we are on to West Ham. Now West Ham's kit last season I didn't really like, or the year before. I haven't been a fan of their kits a lot. They sort of give me those Aston Villa 2012-2013 vibes, which as I stated before in the video I didn't really like at all. But now what they've done is they've just gone for a light blue at the top and the claret down below, which I prefer it to their kits before, but I really hate those kits before, so it doesn't take a lot to beat them. It's a decent kit. I'll probably put this in the B tier because it's still missing something. It doesn't have that same X factor that the Bournemouth or the Watford kit has. So for West Ham, I'm going to be putting it in that B tier. The last on our list is Wolves, and what they've done with theirs is they've lost the stripes on the shoulders, and they've just gone for a clean sort of black sort of underlying collar, and the stripes are now on the side of the shirt underneath the armpits. I do prefer this shirt to last year. It looks a bit cleaner without the shoulder stripes, so I'm going to be putting this Wolves kit in the C tier. So that's the tier list completed. I'll leave it on the screen here so you can see all of my decisions. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you don't miss out on any of the transfer analysis, season previews or fantasy football videos coming up over the next few weeks. And if you like these longer form tier list videos, give me a few suggestions in the comments of what topics I could do next.